All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Another day in paradise. So, the worldwide mulatto reclamation. I want to base this stream off this article that I found that was released actually about a month ago, a little more than a month ago. It was published on May 5th, 2025. It's a Brazilian article and it covers my friend, Beatriz Boina. So, I'm going to dive into this article. Very interesting. I wanted to talk about this for a while since I found it. And I think this is no better time to talk about it than right now. So, the title of this article says, "We need to stop humiliating brown people," says Beatrice Bueno, the new voice challenging the racial debate and shaking up Brazil. It's quite interesting because even in Brazil, um, when I was there with Beatrice, and she's an amazing person, and we were at like one museum. I think like the first day we met in Rio, we decided to go to a local museum there in Rio, and there was someone who kind of like walked up to her and who recognized her. So she has a large enough platform to where people do recognize her because she's close. She's like at like 93, thousand followers on her Instagram page, where she has like the larger numbers. She has larger numbers than me on all her platforms, YouTube and TikTok and all that. But on her Instagram, I think is kind of her bread and butter. She likes that platform, and that's but yeah, people recognize her. We were at this like museum, you know, and someone like walked up to her and recognized her and told her to keep up the good work. So that's like it's got to be a good feeling to know that your work is being recognized by people. So shout out to her for that. So of course, it puts here in this exclusive interview the creator of the concept Parjatuje, which, yes, Beatrice has created this concept and she's working on her master's degree to create more structure with it. Talks about the mental health of brown people, colorism problems in hetero identification boards, the search for recognition beyond black or white, her relationship with the black movement, and much more. This term, hetero identification, I had to look it up. And they even have a star next to it here because I didn't even know what that meant. So I looked it up and it says here from the search that I initiated, hetero identification in the context of racial or ethnic identity refers to the process where an individual's identity is determined by others rather than through self identification. And that's what we find here in the States, the United States. Isn't that what all these mulattoes talk about? Right? Oh, they're trying to, that's what we've been talking about for the past few years, mulatto Americans. Is this idea where people think they can tell you what you are and they don't want to allow space for you to self-identify. And the same people, they're racist and they're hypocrites because they will allow these other kind of fabricated groups to self-identify, right? Like LGBT or, you name it, other groups, like they'll allow them to identify. But with you specifically, mulatto, they have an issue. Okay. So, and that's what this whole definition here means, heteroidentification. The process where an individual's identity is determined by others rather than through self-identification. This is often used in affirmation action programs. It involves a committee or panel evaluating an individual's physical characteristics and other factors to assess their racial or ethnic background, particularly when they are applying for opportunities or benefits reserved for specific groups. Interesting. Yeah. Creating a space. They're telling you taking up space. That space could go to a dark skinned, disabled, LGBT, black female. They're like, why are you getting this role? Why are you getting this position? You got to create space for other people. That's intersectionality, which is anti straight Man, any straight men don't embrace intersectionality. That is a LGBT agenda, and it puts straight men at the bottom. Especially if you're a mulatto man, you have a white mom. I mean, forget about it. Those people who push intersectionality, they are racist and they are anti white mom biracial men. Period. This is my friend, beautiful lady, Brazilian, proud mulatto, proud Brazilian, Beatrice. So this is going to be an article based on her. Beatrice Bueno, 27, was born and raised in the East Zone of Sao Paulo, Brazil, the daughter of a black mother and a white father. She points out racism as something present in her life since childhood. Her memories of that time involve physical violence and adjectives such as naughty little black girl, maid, and the like. Now, this whole article I translated. This is original text is Portuguese, so I did the kind of English translation. So let's see how it works. When she sought shelter in the black movement, she heard on several occasions that she was too white to be there. Yeah, and this is why me and her connect. Because I was telling her, like, the verbiage is exactly the same in the United States. This is what we hear in the United States. That the fact is that it's like it's very, and I when I talked to her, it was the same thing. Like, I'm just reiterating, repeating myself. I was looking at one of the comments in the chat, but yeah, I was talking to her. We're telling her like the same gaslighting and projection that people give us for those of us who identify as mulatto or multiracial, etc. Like it's the same whether the United States or it's in Brazil or in Dominican Republic or even in the UK with the mulattoes in the UK. It's the same thing. People say the same exact rhetoric and talking points. It's the same. They tell you you're too white, you got a white mom, or you're confused and all the same stuff, right? But then when you create your own space, as she did, she's way more successful than me. And that's why I praise her. I owe her. I literally owe her. I applaud her because she's created her own space for Brazilians, and for people in general, right? She's welcomed me with open arms, and like I said, I'm in debt, and I owe her because of that. But we're creating our own spaces, whether we're in Brazil or the United States or in the UK, other mulattoes around the planet. We're creating our own spaces. But when we do that, then the same people who tell us, well, you got a white mom, or you're too white, or you're not like us, right? Like Kendrick Lamar, the same people who tell us that, they want us to like include them and be inclusive. No, no, thank you. You let us know what time it is. For a guy like me, I'm unapologetic. Remember, I'm the villain. I'm the bad guy. So it's like, look, I'm not including y'all. Okay. Right. But the rhetoric is the same talking points. Yeah, you're too white to be there, right? Well, you not a real, quote unquote, real black like me, right? Like, oh, damn, I was trying to help you out. I felt sorry for you, but okay, that's how you feel. Good. Thank you for letting me know. And then you create your own space. What do? They hop over on your channel, your social media, begging for attention, right? And they know they're not going to get your attention. So what they got to do, they run on smear campaigns to destroy your credibility, destroy your name, character assassination, right? Because they're rejected. They don't make the cut. They don't belong over here. So they run smear campaigns. It's pretty pathetic, but this is what they've resorted themselves to. She puts Anne tired of this non-place, neither black nor white. She found motivation to become a researcher of raciality. Today, she is a communicator, writer, and master student in a culture and territorialities course at the Fluminense Federal University. In addition, she is a creator of the concept parjatuje. Yes, she coined that. That's her concept, which, according to her, is the first Brazilian anti racist project focused on multiraciality. Beatrice uses social media platforms such as Instagram, where she has a significant number of followers, to publicize her studies. And like I said, for me, like she reached out to me on IG, and I didn't even know who she was. Like she's a researcher, right? That's literally her title. She's a master's student. She's a researcher. So she found me and messaged me, and I was like, oh shit, she speaks English, right? She's been studying English, I think, since she was a young child, and so she's bilingual, English and Portuguese. But she found me, she messaged me, and like send some like voice notes and stuff. I was like, oh shit, and I look at her platform. She's got thousands of like followers. I'm like, damn, finally, because I've already connected with a couple Pardos on Facebook. I have a few Pardos in my one of my Mulatto community group on Facebook. So I already connected with a couple Pardos. I kind of had a general insight of what they're going through, but not specifically. But for what it just happened, like she reached out to me, and I was like, man, it's amazing, you know. And yeah, through IG, and I was just amazed, like, wow, you recognize me and my work, what I'm doing. It's like, and my IG is kind of like my backup platform, basically. It's just another medium, where people can reach me, I can reach them and connect, etc. YouTube has kind of been my bread and butter, what kind of started it, where I felt like YouTube was a better, vehicle for me to express my opinions and thoughts and connect with people. And but yeah, but I have the IG, and like what I'm saying is thanks to her, because she would share a lot of my stuff. And like most of my followers is accredited to her on IG because she shared my stuff. She has a large platform. So a ton of Brazilian people follow me on IG. I think I'm at like 15, or I'm at 1500. Yeah, somewhere around there. Less than 2K followers on IG, but I mean, man, like the most of my followers for sure it's contributed to her, because I don't upload reels or post that much on IG. I'm on IG pretty much daily, but I just kind of look and see what everyone else is doing. Most of the time, I upload content's going to be on here YouTube, but yeah, it's because of her. Like I said, the following that I have on IG, which is not even really a following comparable to her, it's because she shares my stuff. So appreciate her for everything she does. But yeah, to publicize her studies, she also has channels on YouTube, TikTok under the name Parja2J. In this exclusive interview, she talks about the mental health of brown people, colorism, problems in heteroidentification boards, the search for recognition beyond black or white, her relationship with the black movement, and much more. Interesting. Let's check this out, guys. Okay, it says Flavia Azevedo. The IBGE has been using Pardo since 1950, a term that also appears in advertisements for the purchase and sale of enslaved people. You recently coined Parja2J. How do you see the evolution of this category for the IBGE and society? So, Beatriz Bueno, in Brazil, race is seen by phenotype. Our official census is based on color. The term brown, due to skin tone, encompasses different mixed race people with this skin tone. Parja 2J investigates the experience of these individuals. Historically, much literature has addressed mixed race people, observing their existence as good or bad and giving opinions on whether miscegenation was positive or negative for Brazil, with views that are sometimes racist and sometimes idealized and stereotypical. However, there is little empirical research on the racialization of these individuals, how racism operates in them beyond their Black or Indigenous ancestry, and little is heard about their experiences as a group. And that is a key thing. Little is heard about their experiences as a group. And we see that in the United States. Individually, that you'll have like a Black social media page where they'll probably do a hit piece or they'll highlight one biracial person and talk about them. Even on Sage Steele, her platform, her YouTube, she'll have her like white colleague or white friend, whatever, and they'll talk about biracial issues and stuff. And also let me give credit to Sage Steele. She brought on Reggie Watts, which I'm a fan of, musician, kind of comedian personality. He's a mulatto man. She brought on him and they talked about mulatto topics. And like I said, shout out to Sage Steele again because she used her platform. She's mulatto identified. She brought on the basketball player. I forgot the cat's name. Barnes, Matt Barnes. They talked about mulatto topics and issues. Sage Steele is probably the most prominent one in media that I see that really goes into these topics whenever she can, when the opportunity presents itself. I don't see anybody else doing it with her, that has her comparable platform or, reach, etc. So as a group, yeah. So like Beatrice is saying here, like as a group, we're not really studied. They'll take individual cases, which I do see similarly happening here, where they'll basically talk with this person or that biracial person, that mulatto person. But as a group, we don't have really collective data and research to see exactly what's going on. We got to change that. And it just starts with people, concerned citizens, basically. Scholars such as Leah Viner, Joyce Lopez, and Veronica Daflon showed their work that there is a lot about miscegenation. For those of you who don't know, miscegenation just basically means like race mixing. It's kind of an archaic term. They talk about, yeah, people of different racial backgrounds procreating. This term miscegenation is kind of antiquated, in my opinion. But for all intents and purposes, for this, we're using it. But little about mixed race people themselves, talking about their processes. Part 2J focuses on the common issues of this group, as many global multiracial movements are currently doing, bringing together mixed race people of diverse origins to discuss their issues and rights, as what we're doing here in the United States. People like me, people like Michigan Mulatto, people like Mulatto Mindset, people like the Mixed Lens. You have Mulatto Americans, like Renata Malata, and we're talking about these important topics. Brown people share their experience of being descendant from oppressed and oppressors. Interesting, that dynamic, right? Living this experience in their families and communities with their own conflicts, such as blackness and whiteness, were terms created to analyze the experiences and privileges of groups. Brownness seeks to investigate, or Parcha Tuje, which she's coined, brownness seeks to investigate the multiracial experience without romanticizing or demonizing it in an anti-racist way, considering the perspectives brought by Black and Indigenous movements. Yeah, because we know in the United States, typically when people talk about like mulattoes, it's often in a negative light. I have some other data. Shout out to DC. She shared with me earlier today, actually, on IG, where it's often you'll find like within Black spaces, whenever they talk about mulattoes, it's always negative. Like, and they're framing us as like duplicitous. You can't trust us. We're working for the oppressor, and that, or that we're tragic or we're lost or confused. Just very negative racist stereotypes they place upon us, right? And this is something we have to combat. In the process, if I get called anti-Black for challenging their anti-mulatto racism, so be it. So be it. This is the way it is. Like, this idea where they think they can silence us is absurd. I don't know who these people think they are. They have no power or influence out here to dictate anything. The mulattoes have the microphone now. I'm one guy. My goal, and I've been successful at it, is encouraging and motivating other mulattoes to develop a voice. Create a YouTube channel, create an Instagram, create a Twitter, start talking, start networking with other mulattoes. You don't have to like me. I'm not the nicest. I'm not special. I'm not the smartest. I'm just a guy with the internet connection and a microphone. That's it. But they're not going to silence us. They'll have petty attempts and try, but we're always still going to be here. We're going to grow. We're going to get this information out here. So yeah, let's continue on with this article. Very fascinating stuff. Shout out to Beatrice for this. Appreciate this. You argue that Parja 2J is the first Brazilian anti-racial project focusing on multiraciality. Given the historical struggle of the Black movement against racism, what are the main points and tensions in agreement between these movements in search of racial justice in Brazil? So, it says Parja 2J as an anti-racist movement and research goes hand in hand with the agendas of the Black movement. We defend affirmative action policies, the fight for more education, dignity and rights for brown, black, and indigenous people. We're also committed to recovering the cultural heritage of our ancestors. There we go. Committed to recovering the cultural heritage of our ancestors. When I was at one of the museums, it was a black museum in Brazil, Sao Paulo, Afro Museum. They had mulattoes there. I shared it on my other channel, Mulatto History Channel. But see, they always put mulatto history in the black lens, and that's black erasure or mulatto erasure. Excuse me. It's mulatto erasure. They're burying us underneath blackness, and they do that in many places. In America, it's very disgusting how they do that, but they try that in Brazil, and I saw that. I talked about it on my channel. But when I was in Costa Rica recently, they didn't do that. They didn't really attempt to do that. There was one Jamaican guy. I posted a video. I'll upload it where he doesn't really look like he's Bantu, but they're trying to claim that he's like the first Afro descendant, like politician in Costa Rica, but he doesn't look Bantu. So interesting. But they distinguish that mulattoes are an independent category in Latin America, specifically in like Costa Rica, which I was very happy to see that. So more on that later. Okay. But yeah, it is we are also committed to recovering the cultural heritage of our ancestors. Yeah, that's very important. You draw inspiration from the history because they're trying to deny you your personhood. They're trying to basically subjugate you to servitude. And they're doing that by co-opting your history. See, that they're trying to destroy your identity. They're saying the language you use is bad, while they get the free privilege and free reign to use whatever language. Like, look at the situation with like Drake and Kendrick. I'm bringing it back to that because it's very important. This is all part and parcel. Where Kendrick will tell Drake, I don't want to hear you say nigga no more. He's trying to tell this mulatto man, don't say the N word. He's trying to tone police and censor his speech, Drake, right? But then if Drake walked around and called himself mulatto, they would have an issue with that. The same people who are praising Kendrick for saying Drake can't say the N word, they're perfect. They're the same people telling Miss Mulatto to change her name to Lotto. Don't call yourself. You guys see the hypocrisy, the racism and oppression from Blackistan. Do you guys not see that? They're trying to control your speech. This is why they hate me. It's not because I'm a bad guy. Okay. It's not because I use a couple bad words here and there. Like it's so bad. No, they hate the fact that you mulattoes are waking up. Nobody else is giving you this information on social media. So if you like this content, if you like what I'm saying, hit the like button, share the stream, share it with somebody you feel will have value to it. I know the coloreds are doing that in South Africa. The coloreds are networking. The coloreds have found my content. They're sharing it with other colored people. So if they can do that all the way in South Africa, why can't you mulatto Americans do that? Why can't you share the content? Okay. Unless you're too busy underneath yo baby daddy, you know who you are. Okay. So we are also committed to recovering cultural heritage of our ancestors, which is often erased, and to combating the persistent consequences of structural racism in our society. The only divergence and main point of tension is in the way we understand mixed race identity. The only divergence and main point of tension is the way we understand mixed race identity. Very interesting. Parjatuje brings a critical look at the approach that requires mixed race people to adopt a monoracial identity. Okay. Parjatuje brings a critical look at the approach that requires mixed race people to adopt a monoracial identity. We do not belittle the important work already done by the Black movement, but we understand that this logic of hypodescent, which automatically links mixed race people to the socially inferior group, yeah, she's talking about the blackwashing, the one drop rule, hypodescent, right? And that's what they've transplanted these American Anglo ideals into Brazil. This is basically the general consensus. When my conversations with Beatrice, and even prior with her, with other pardos I've talked to, that was a general consensus that a lot of the American philosophies, this one drop rule, hypo descent, these racist rules and edicts and social kind of structures have been transplanted culturally to other countries. In Brazil, people have took that one drop rule and said it's a good thing, that it strengthens, right? They're saying the black movement, it strengthens if they can one drop Pardo people and erase Pardo people, but only to benefit the darker skinned people. What happens is they maneuver the brown people, Pardo people, in a subordinate position. What they've been successfully trying to do in the United States is that you got guys like me kind of clapping back, like, nah, we're not subordinates over here. You got men who are clapping back. Let's be real. You got men, okay, who got some balls hopping on here, social media, Michigan mulatto mindset. You got men, okay, mulatto men who are hopping on here, pushing back, saying, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna stand our ground. We're gonna be mulatto. That's it. So yeah. And then she puts here was important from contexts such as South African apartheid and the racial system in the United States. This ideology, when applied in Brazil, ignores the concrete cultural and historical reality of mixed race people, whose existence has always been recognized in our country. Yeah, they've always recognized the mixed race or Pardo category in Brazil. It's always been recognized as a mixed race nation for all intents and purposes. Not everyone's mixed, but the mixed race, the people, it's very evident, very obvious. You go to Brazil. In the 1970s, amid efforts to dismantle the myth of racial democracy, the Brazilian Black movement, according to this is like an African name, Kabingula Munanga, was inspired by American models and began to include mixed race people within a Black identity. He was inspired by American models, which is hypodescent, one drop rule. They were inspired because they looked at mulattoes and pardos and mixed people as tools to help boost the numbers, the numerical population numbers of the Black movement. And that's precisely what you're seeing in the United States with like the FBA movement, because the FBA's very tragic for them. They're trying to delineate themselves from continental Africans. In a lot of the FBAs, they're claiming to be the real Indians. They're frauds, and they're trying to mix in with the mulattoes and other groups and the Mexicans, right? The Hebrew Israelites, because they claim to be they're it's so sad and very disgusting. Like you have these Hebrew Israelites in the United States where these are black males, black boys. They're trying to claim that the Puerto Ricans and Mexicans are their people, but the Africans are not their people. It's very disgusting. But what they're trying to do is mix in with the mulattoes, mestizos, and Latinos and claim this kind of black kind of pride or black identity. But it's a numbers game. It's a political motive they have. This is what their agenda is, to fuse in with mestizos, Latinos, and mulattoes to boost in their black numbers. So they're doing that in Brazil, but they're also doing it in America. They've been doing it in America for years. And that's what this African guy here, he said he was inspired by American models that began to include mixed race people within a black identity. See, it's all political agenda to use mulattoes as tools to serve dark-skinned Bantus. So they're implanting this globally, these type of strategies they have to use us as political pawns for their agenda. Parjatuje recognizes the importance of this movement at that time, but proposes to advance the debate. Instead of being seen as light-skinned black, which doesn't mean anything. If you're light-skinned black, you're still black. Okay? And trust me, I'm going to have to go more into this in the future because there is an active coup, people trying to co-opt the mulatto identity. None of these people were calling themselves mulatto until I showed up. None of them. They were too comfortable with innocuous terms like biracial and mixed race and multiracial. And a lot of them still are that way. Nobody was comfortable using this mulatto terminology until I shoved it down your fucking throats and told you this is what it is. Because you had a person like me up here, everything mulatto, 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 unapologetically. We have destigmatized this. And in the unfortunate reality is now you got people who are light skinned black. They just been black their whole damn life. Okay. But now they want to jump in and like, oh, I can be something else besides black. Let me jump on this mulatto stuff. No, not with a guy like me over here. And you might have more numbers. That's fine. Line them up. We're going to knock them all down. You're not mulatto. Okay. I'm going to let you know. The biracial baby mamas, they'll play games with you and start the gender war. You've been warned. We're watching you. We see you. We analyze your comments. We're strategizing. You've been warned. Don't try it. This is a mulatto space. I created this for mulattoes. Deal with it. Go do your own thing. Go create your own space. You're not going to come over here and try to hijack this. You will be dealt with. All right. We defend the right to be recognized as mixed race, a legitimate identity with its own experiences and challenges. Okay. And she puts here, instead of being seen as light skin or light blacks, we defend the right to be recognized as mixed race, a legitimate identity with its own experiences and challenge. Exactly. Because when they coin that term light skin black, they want to put you underneath them as a subordinate. That's all basically insubordination. Oh, you're just a light skinned black. You just look like you're a light skinned black. You just look black to us. You just look like a light skinned black. Really? If that was the case, why is it when they look at a guy like me or other people, they say, "What are you?" Do they ask light skinned blacks, "What are you?" No. They're going to ask guys like me, well, "Are you Puerto Rican? Are you Brazilian?" They always get it wrong. They don't know what the hell I am. It's the ambiguity. When they look at a light skinned black, they look at your fucking nose. Your nose takes up half of your damn face. They know you're not the same as us. Like I don't know what to tell you guys. Okay. You're a futurist, mulatto vanguard. Okay, well, so are you. You people are racist. You guys are futurists. You talk about, you know, you can push all that stuff back on them, right? They'll talk about your finances, they'll talk about your living situation, they'll talk about how tall you are, they'll talk about what clothes you wear, all that featureism stuff. Look, the same people who push that, who cry and complain and whine about featureism, they're the futurist. It's a made up term that doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. They just make it up. That's that black lesbian feminist intersectionality philosophies. It just doesn't mean any. I don't respect it. I haven't seen any articles, any published works, or anything academic that's respectable for me to even acknowledge it. This featureism stuff. This is all like those people. It's all projection. They're the racists. They're the futurists. See, they love futurism when it benefits them. The same people who cry futurism, when you analyze their comments on social media, they're the futurists, they're the racists. They're talking about how tall people are and they're, what they look like and all this stuff. We're like, wait a second, you're the futurist, you're the racist. I'm tired of hearing these people with their foolishness, and the hypocrisy is really despicable. Let me continue on. Still, there are concerns in a black movement that Part 2J will cause racial division and weaken policies for black people. See, because they want you to be a subordinate. You have to relinquish your own destiny, your own livelihood to serve another group of people. That should raise concerns for you. They're telling you, well, you're being divisive and you're weakening the black numbers, the policies for black people. Why don't they get off their ass and help themselves out? Why is it on us? Why is it on mixed people? See, we're the only ones being divisive, but they're saying you're too white to be a part of their group. They're telling you got a white mom. They're telling you you're confused. They're telling Drake, well, he was raised by a white mom in the suburbs. Like, what? And then we're like, okay, let's do our own shit. Let's take our money, resources. Let's network. Got a passport. Let's go travel, talk to people. Let's network. Let's do our own stuff. Then they turn around and say, you're racist. They turn around and say you're anti-black. They turn around and say you're divisive. We're like, what the hell? Like, you're not going to win with these people. That's the whole point here, guys. You're not going to win. They want to, in nice ways, they're going to, with this academic lingo, they're going to try to maneuver you in a position of servitude. That's it. Where they want you to basically relinquish the mulatto plight, right? They want you to adhere. What I often say is they want you to adhere to the monoracial black sensibilities at the expense of the mulatto plight. That's what I've coined. That's what I often say. And this lady, Beatrice, is witnessing that in Brazil as well. Like the detractors, they'll say, you're divisive. You're anti-black, you're racist, you're going to weaken black numbers. They want you to deny your personhood. They want you to be a subordinate to serve other people who hate you and are racist against you. Anyone who's self-respecting would like reject this, would say, "No, I'll be the bad guy. I'm just going to maintain my peace and sanity." That's it. How do you respond to this? How does Parjatuje seek to strengthen rather than fragment the anti-racist struggle? This concern stems from the trauma of Brazilian miscegenation, a violent and erasing process. The fear is of going back to whitening, which demobilized mixed race, indigenous, and black people. But the weakening of policies for black people is largely due to the fact that 60% of Brazilians do not see themselves as black. Most Brazilians don't see themselves as black. When you often hear people who misquote these quote unquote researchers who misquote and say Brazil is a black nation or they have a large black population, that's because they're one dropping the mixed race or pardo people into blackness. That's a critical key thing to understand. Just like in the United States, when they say, well, the black population is 13%, we're like, no, not realistically, no. They're more around under 10%, maybe 8 or 9%. They have a lot of mulattoes who identify as black. That's how their numbers have been able to maintain around this 13, 12 percentile range in the United States. No, it's because they're claiming mulattoes. Same exact thing in Brazil. Like they don't have these numbers like that. It's just because they're claiming the mulattoes and pardos in Brazil to increase their political clout. This is a strategy, or what I would often call this kind of neo New Age Bantu expansion. That's through this bastardization process and claiming mulattoes and mixed people when it benefits them, and then throw us under the bus when we get too much shine. Hence the macrocosm of what's going on with Drake. If that's not waking you up, I don't know what will. I mean, because I'm a guy, I guess Drake's a guy, but there, if that doesn't wake you up to see the reality of the situation, I don't know what else will. It was a blessing that whole situation happened. I was like, let me talk about that and cover that because this is all connected. That's the macrocosm of what they do. They'll claim all your wins. They'll claim everything you do that's good. Everything's fine and dandy. And I realized this early on, like in the working environment, even like, let's say, like a decade ago. I was like, I thought I was cool with this cat. I thought me and him were cool. We're homies. But at the drop of a hat, he will throw you under the bus for no reason. And I see the same guy, dark skinned Bantu, turning around, kissing white ass. I'm like, something's going on. Like, I'm being left out of the loop. Like, is this a behavioral thing? Like, yeah, it is a behavioral thing. It's biological. Something in their mind, this like slave chip, something's going on to where they will turn on every mulatto. Something's going on, and it has to be further examined. Let me continue on with this. The imposition of hypodescendants is not popular, not only because of racial unconsciousness, but because culturally mixed people are identified. We did not have a one drop rule. Not until now. In Brazil, she's saying they didn't have it, but they do now because they're implanting American ideals out there, right? When academic thought distanced itself from popular perception, proposals become weakened, labeled as identitarianism. The controversies in heteroidentification panels also weaken the policies, ignoring that multiracial brown people are not seen as black by the public, generating contradictions. The case of identical twins and quotas, one approved as brown and the other not, exploited by the right to discredit the policies, illustrates this. The central concern should be this: to discuss multiraciality, to critically analyze the problems, such as the quote unquote racial limbo, interesting, of those who do not fit into the proposed monoraciality. Yeah, racial limbo. Those who don't fit into the box, the black box, white box. Let's create our own damn box. In Brazil, you got the Pardo box. United States, I'm created the mulatto box. I didn't even create it. It's been here before me. It's been on the census since the beginning. It's been here. They just tried to erase it. Well, we're bringing it back. I filled out some application or something earlier, and then they have these boxes you check. It's like, oh, I want to self-identify. Click the self-identify, and I type in a response, mulatto. Every application moving forward, you know, to hell with these people. They're not going to tell us how we can identify. We're going to tell them. I'm one voice. The more of you do it, things are going to rapidly change. They're going to be forced to. We're going to force our will on the public. Ignoring this is vulnerability. Trying to impose monoraciality in the most multiracial country in the world is our Achilles heel, right? Very mixed nation, Brazil. And yeah, they're trying to force the kind of monoracial kind of paradigm and boxes on people who are very mixed. Yeah. You'll see mulattoes everywhere. Just I was in Colombia. You see mulattoes everywhere in Colombia. I was in Panama City, Panama. Mulattoes everywhere there. I was in Costa Rica. I did see mulattoes, but they weren't the majority. They weren't everywhere. Okay. In the few cities that I visited in Costa Rica. But I was surprised at the National Museum that they honored mulattoes' contributions. I was like, yes, that is a win for us. But there are mulattoes in Costa Rica for sure. I met a few. I got to talk with a few, so that was good. I didn't record it, unfortunately. I'm not, I'm living my life and on vacation. It's not, I don't have my camera out everywhere I go. Let me get an interview, right? Just kind of living in the moment. But yeah, the mulattoes are there in Costa Rica, but not at the same extent as like Brazil or Colombia or Panama, right? So just something to understand. Yeah. Racial division already exists, including brown people, as black does not guarantee genuine collective mobilization. Excuse me, the resistance to my work demonstrates this division. When brown people who support brownness speak out, they are harassed, showing a lack of unity. And what do people do to me? They harass me, and they're not people, they're just one gay guy, right? Who's harassing. And we already told him we're not interested. You're bisexual, go talk to gay guys, but he can't do that. He's got to harass straight men. So, but that's the thing. Yeah, you'll have people out here like that who will harass you, right? If we cannot point out what is not working, the division persists. Pointing out this division and seeking solutions is seen as creating it, right? Which is blaming the messenger. It is crucial to understand that we are exposing an open wound. Yeah. Very loaded language here. The way she put it. Yeah. The fact is, like, you're trying to provide solutions, but they're literally pushing it back in your face and saying you're creating division. Like, no, we're basically trying to seek solutions. We're opening the question. We're asking the question. We want to solve this. Biracial people are not black. And my whole thing is it's like, look, because what I find in the United States with like the pro wax or whatever, FBA, they want to be able to tell mulattoes that we're not black. But when we tell them we're not black, they have an issue with that. It's like, well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, what's the issue? They want to tell you you can't use this word or that word, but they want to use words on you. Like, they want to openly refer to you as mulatto as a slur. And I love that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to use mulatto as a sense of pride. The same knuckleheads jump in my comments trying to educate me. Mulatto's a bad word. Do you know the history of that word mulatto? You shouldn't be proud to call yourself mulatto. I'm like, why are you savages calling us mulattoes then? Like, they want to use language on you, but you use a language, you have a sense of pride, identity. They have an issue with that. So there's a power imbalance there. Is I'm trying to get people to understand that, like, you're not gonna win with certain people. The goal is to not play the game. Like, you're not gonna win. Like, I know Beatrice, this lady, beautiful lady, proud lady, but she's gonna be more diplomatic than me for sure. With me, I'm more kind of, standoffish, like, oh, let me just create my own situation. Let them hate with their troll account over there, their irrelevancy. Let them hate over there, okay? Where they can stack their own likes. They can switch to their 50 other troll accounts and like their own posts. Let them do that over there. Over here, we have our own spot. That's it. So yeah, let me finish this article off. I think I might drop the link tonight. I think so. I see your guys' comments. I'll get to your guys' comments. And then I'll get back to the article, finish that off. Yeah. Shout out to you guys for being here. Hit the like button if you guys like it. If you guys like the content, I appreciate that. And all right, starting up top, you have a channel called Black Brazil Today is trying to use a one drop rule in Brazil. Yeah, I think I seen a comment like that before. Someone informed me. Yeah, I mean they're basically transplanting the one drop rule from the United States into other countries like Brazil. They're trying to do that in Dominican Republic. It's not working. The Dominican consciousness is too strong. There's too many proud Dominicans. That's why the tracks, the music I'm playing right now, is actually Espanol, Spanish, Dominican music. I love Dominicans. They're too proud. Like their national identity is too strong. You have a lot of mulattoes there, and they're not going to budge. And they're taking like the slurs that they use, like that goofy ass Godfrey or Godfrey, whatever his name is, some fake ass comedian talking about me no black, me no black. The Dominicans are using that in like a sense of honor. Like, you're right, I'm not black. Me no black, I'm Dominican. Like, so they're pushing it back in their face. I love that. So they tried that one drop rule with Dominicans. You have some confused Dominicans that were basically American raised. It's not the ones who were like born on the island and maybe moved to America when they were kids or teenagers, whatever. It's kind of the ones who were like their parents are Dominican, but they were born and raised in America. Those are the ones who are going to be Bantu butt kissers, period. I think if they're from the islands or born there, it's a different situation. That's just my general observation. So yeah, that one drop rule, it doesn't work with Dominicans that are like born and raised in Dominican and like they're proud of their identity. It doesn't work out there from what I've seen. It's these ones who are just basically Americans. They're raised in America and like, oh, the white people are racist. Okay, well, yeah, everyone else is racist too. Like these Arabs, these Chinese, these Mexicans and shit. So what? And then now you got these blacks that are racist. Okay, so now what are you gonna do? You're gonna identify with people who are racist and hate you? Okay, have fun. I see some, whatever. I'll get into that in the future. He is also a black American guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the thing is with them, they want the one drop rule because they want to claim the women. They want access to the mixed race vagina, the mixed race box. That's why the males, the black males, American males are pushing a one drop rule. They hate Drake. They hate the fact that Drake will take people's women. They hate the fact that Chris Brown and these other guys that they'll snatch people's women. They get access to all the women. They hate that. They don't like us men. They don't like the mulatto men. They don't like the fact that we attract all these other groups of women. So they don't like the men, but they're pushing a one drop rule, these black males in American, because they want to do the women. They want to claim the women as black to bastardize them, to neutralize them, right? Conquer them, leave them as baby mamas. But they want to exclude the men, the males, right? The mixed race males, right? This is very public and very open. It's not like a secret anymore. I don't know. You guys can complain about my delivery all you want, act like I care. You need to cash at me at this point. Shit. Those of you complainy pants, you're not doing nothing but hating on the sidelines and shit. Like, you need to cash at me or something. I know who is that is. I've been on his YouTube channel. I call him out on that in the comment section. The black movement in Brazil is pushing and lobbying for Pardo to be classified as Porto. Yeah, black. Yeah, Preto. Mixed race categorized as black. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. It's like they're going backwards. I feel like in the UK they're more progressive with the mixed race identity. Mulatto, like they don't even use the term mulatto there. Mixed race is the term they use in the UK, but they're more progressive and they see mulattoes and they let them identify as mixed race, right? United States, in progressive states, remember, United States, it's a very unique country because depending on the region, location, the state, things are run differently. Like the gun laws are different in every state, the marijuana laws, all the prostitution laws. Like prostitution in the United States is basically Nevada where they have that, but it's like every state is different. The laws are very drastically different. So as far as like the data collection and government forms, etc., depending on the state. That's what's interesting about United States with categorization of black. I feel like in the southern states, United States, so all the way from Texas to like Florida, the southern states, that's where it's this more kind of regressive, and you need to be either white or black. We trying to maintain the social order down here. We going to bring in these illegals to help our economy. We'll let them identify as Hispanic and Latino and Spanish, and they can be Muslim and Arab too. We got some LGBT folks too. We gonna let them identify as female and male, but if you wanted them mulatto mongrels, you just gotta be black because we got them blacks right where we want them. You know what I'm saying? So they got the blacks where they want them. They see the mulattoes, they look at us, we're competing with them for power. We're not going to acquiesce to their hegemony. They look at us as a threat. Therefore, they want to contain us, put us in a box, a comfortable box, which is that black box. It doesn't fit for us. Not the men like me who got some fucking balls. We're saying, no bueno. It's not working for us. We're doing something different. Tough. Deal with it. We're going to make you deal with it. We're going to force it on you. So it's state by state in the United States. That's the whole point. It's a numbers game, and they want to get in through the women. That usually easier. Yeah, that's it. You already know what's up, Sal. They want to get through the women. It's easier to brainwash them, make them baby mamas, bastardize them, and then they get the women, fighting their battles. The dark skin could just sit on their ass playing Xbox. That's why you see some of these people, like this person, Ginger Treats. The last live stream I had, she jumped in the chat talking about whatever your government document says. If it says you black, you just got to be black. Like, ho, get the fuck up out of here. See, why is she talking like that? Looking like a light-skinned Tyrannosaurus Rex. Why is she saying that? Right? When the dark skins are not even jumping up in here talking this shit, but they got some light-skinned female running her damn yap, speaking for them on their behalf. Well, because I got family member that dark skin. Okay, good. You need to take your fat ass back over to them and go deal with them. Don't come up in my shit and get your ass blocked. I'm just insulted and disgusted. Like you mentioned here, this brainwashing where like they actually think they're going to come up in here and change our opinion on something, but they never challenge the racist who want to force mulattoes into a box, an identity that doesn't fit us. They never challenge them. They just want to challenge the mulatto man who's providing an alternative. Yeah, I have an issue with that, and I'm not going to be silent about that. Yeah, there's light skin black, but there's no dark skin whites. Yeah, you notice that? Interesting. You make a very valid point. Yeah, they never talk about dark skin whites, do they? But they talk about light skin black. Like, what? How light skin are they? Are they like 40% European? They're not black at that point. They're something else. They do like a DNA test. They're like 30% Irish, 10% Scottish, in like what? Like 50% black, and they got something else going on. Like, bro, you're not like black, bro. Like, what the hell? How the hell can you be like 40%, 30 plus percent, 40% like European and call yourself black? Well, what the hell is black then? If someone who has a white mom who's 50 plus percent white came out of a white vagina, if you're going to call them black, what the hell is black? Like an Alicia Keys, right? She's got a white mom. They want to say she's black. Like, what is black then? You guys mean nothing, and that's why it's the bottom caste. You can't even define yourselves. You want to claim mulattoes, it's gonna bite you in the ass. Like I said, the older generation, they kind of got fixed in, but us younger ones, millennials and younger, we're just gonna take all of our history, all of our resources. We're gonna do our own shit. You're gonna be left in the dust, especially the way a lot of you people are quote unquote delineating from these Africans. These Africans are just going to do business with other people, with us and others, and Chinese, etc., and Arabs. So we're going to get some good deals while you people are sitting there looking dumb, trying to basically erase yourself, mix in with the mulattoes. See, but they're going to focus on the women. That's their key, their ticket, the folk. But see, for the dark skinned females, what the hell are they gonna do? That's why they have this whole large divestment movement. They're gonna get a white man, or whatever. Okay, well, you're a mulatto child. They're gonna be punked by these dark skinned Bantu males. They're gonna be looking for answers. They're gonna go on the internet. They're gonna find my channel and other people's channels. That's it. It's gonna be like a cycle repeating itself. That's what's gonna happen. They're not going to get punked by you people. I'm letting you know. These younger folks, once they realize they have another option, they're not going to be a subordinate underneath you. The thing is, numbers won't change anything. Black people already gain affirmative action in colleges, universities, as well as anti discrimination laws. Yeah. You can't discriminate against blacks. Even these whites, they know, like a lot of these whites, they're very uppity with mulattoes, but they know they have to watch their tongue around these blacks. See, that's why I'm very kind of vocal, very vocal and stern and assertive with my delivery, because I've worked with these groups even recently, going through a situation currently where it's like, yeah, these whites, like, they're not going to publicly in the work environment talk about Jews. They'll talk shit on the internet about Jews and all this stuff, and they'll talk about blacks and black fatigue and all this crap online, you know. But in the workplace, they're very nice. They coddle blacks. They feel sorry for them. They're all making all the excuses. I see it firsthand. I'm not going to publicly give any examples at the moment, but I see this firsthand. But with mulattoes, there's no sympathy for you. It's straight up competition. Like this, the race, 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 competition. They're straight up looking at you as a competitor. The males and the females. I got the Karens and the Kens. I got them. I got them both as of recent, and it's very interesting. But it puts me in a unique position. My whole situation now is like I love the flexibility. If I can just, plan a trip, jump on a plane and say, I'm going to go to this country. I just want to go there, work, make my money, figure out how to live the best quality of life and just get it, just continue it. I don't want to be locked in, landlocked, surrounded, have to go to work with people that I don't like. That's where I'm at in my life. I'm just one guy though. Right. They don't need the numbers because they already have their whole foot in the door where it matters, but they still want to infiltrate mixed race people's spaces to further weaken mixed people. Yeah, to neutralize us because they know we're going to be a comparable threat. They know as a group, it's these other groups they'll find, like Latinos, right? Latinos, Arabs, or Asians. They know with these other groups, they're going to find us more palatable and more willing to work with us. And that's why they want to weaken our group. They want to bastardize us. And they typically have their light skinned saviors and their saboteurs, right? Disinformation agents out here spreading, smear campaigns and lies to destabilize our growing mulatto community. So that's really what, like you said, they already have like privileges and benefits. Everyone feels sorry for their ass, right? It isn't today a holiday, like they have a national holiday, right? Juneteenth. Like, and everyone just feels sorry for their ass, right? They're poor little victims, but yet they can be aggressive at the same time. And you better watch your mouth. I'm going to check you. I mean, when I first started doing this, someone on Twitter was like, man, someone should G check him. They should G check him. Mulatto Vanguard. He's racist. He's talking crap. We need to G check him, right? That's how they talk. But then when they get G checked, what happens? They cry like bitches. Hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe. And they cry like victims, right? I was a slave. Poor me. I'm a victim. It's like, well, which one is it? Are you the big dog? Are you the aggressor? Or are you the victim? Because you can't be both, but they want to be both, right? And the thing is, they want to manipulate mulattoes into being their subordinates. And as you already alluded to, Sal's HQ, is it's easier for them to maneuver the females to be subordinates, right? It's easier for them to do that. I just don't really see these like good results. I see a lot of baby mamas, and these are the same ones who got a lot of shit to say about me. Come to find out, I'm like, man, you're a baby mama. What the fuck? Like, I don't like dignified, respectable mulatto women who actually have some decency and class. They're not hating on your boy. I don't like these are like my fans. These are people subscribed and support me. It's always the baby mamas that got some shit to say. I'm like, bro, and then they got a criminal record at that, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why are they coming at me? Just go take your ass back over there. you know. Celebrities participate in mulatto erasure, indigenous erasure. These rappers like Ice Cube and Kevin Gates claiming to be natives. Yeah, they're jokers. Yeah, Kevin Gates, he's just a black Bantu, and they'll say, well, he's light skinned. I don't care what the hell his skin is. He's black. You're light. Okay, you're light skin. Okay, that's fine. You're light skin. You're black. Because that's the issue. When you do this light skin shit, they're gonna basically always redefine what a light skin is. They're gonna be telling you next month that Michael Jordan is actually light skinned. This is what these people do. They're Afrocentrics, they're black identified. This is it. That's why, like, the mulatto thing is, for me, it's worked out perfectly. Now you have some of these light skins trying to penetrate and call themselves mulatto. And it's like, look, I've been letting you guys dance around. You can do what you want, that's fine. But I'm telling you, the real mulattoes, not you fake ass hoes hiding behind the avatar. The real mulattoes who are cammed up, we're all on camera talking our shit. We're not going to allow you people to penetrate our circles. We are going to gatekeep this. So you can play that whole light skin, like mulatto shit, hiding behind your avatar. But when we really see you and look at you, you don't look like one of us. You're not. No, no, no. And you can't even verify and claim that you have two mulatto parents. No, you got a black parent and a mulatto parent. You're a griff, homie. You're not one of us. Okay, I'll be the bad guy to let you know what's up. But these other people, they're way more inclusive. Go to them. Go join the feminist, lesbian, LGBT, mixed race spaces. They're plentiful. That's all you have out here. Go to them. They'll gladly accept you. You can call yourself whatever you want as long as you bow down to the matriarchy. They'll have you in. But over here, we're ultra specific and we are going to gatekeep. We're very exclusive, unapologetically. Yeah, because this is the shit you have. You have Ice Cube and Kevin Gates saying they're Indians and shit. But it wasn't like Ice Cube. I'm from the West Coast. Like, all his music, he's talking about Farrakhan and the Black Pride and all this shit. He was talking all this shit in the 90s, proud to be black, and always like name dropping Farrakhan, how he loved Farrakhan and shit. But now they're calling themselves Indians. It's like with this FBA shit. They claim to be pro black, but they're calling themselves indigenous and Indians and shit. It's just, man, get out of here, man. It's confusion crap, these people. They also love gaslighting mulattoes with this one here. Mulatto is not a race. Mulatto is a race. And lucky for us, it was recognized on the United States Census, but also other nations as well. Dominican Republic. And like I mentioned, I just shared with you guys, Costa Rica. Other nations have recognized mulattoes, even in Brazil. I went to the art museum. They specifically highlighted this is a mulatto woman. They didn't say a black woman, because we know what a black woman looks like. You people cry and complain colorism every 2 seconds. You got Lauryn Hill or Missy Elliott or Brandy. Yeah, that's your black female. But we got mulatto women. We got Zoe Kravitz. We got Alicia Keys. Yeah, we got mulattas. We know the difference with a Holly Berry, a mulatta versus a black like Lauryn Hill or Nina Simone. Yeah, we know the difference. See, they want to trick you and they want to play this game where it comes in many shades. Okay, well, yeah, I don't claim Beyonce. I know her mama is like Creole mixed, but her dad's black. She's not mulatto. I don't claim Beyonce. Some of these more, inclusive mixed people will try to one drop everybody into, the mixed cat. I don't do that. I'm a mulatto cat over here. And unfortunately, these are mulattoes. I know, but they're like, whatever. They have their own social media pages. And I like the stuff they share with me and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna be real. Like, I'm more exclusive. Where a lot of these other pages, they're gonna be more inclusive. They're gonna say Beyonce's mixed race. I'm like, yeah, her partner's Jay-Z. And it's just, I'm not interested. I don't want her over here. Okay. I don't want those types over here. They even claim Lauren London, Alicia Keys. Yeah, Alicia Keys is a white mom. She doesn't look like a black. Okay. Those two are mixed race. Technically, what mulatto defines is what they are. Yeah. They want to muddy the waters and redefine what black is to make themselves feel better because they want more adjacency to their white massa. So they want to claim Alicia Keys, they want to claim Bob Marley, right? They want to claim all these mulattoes because they want adjacency to their white massa. They want to use mulattoes as a bridge to get closer to their white massa. Same with me. I am state born and raised Dominican. I have also claimed mulatto. Even when some of the black guys that grew up around tried to one drop me, I always told them, nah, I'm mulatto, you black. Yeah. Yeah, they're black, you're mulatto. Yeah, you got to let them know. And they'll get mad, they'll get hurt, their little feelings hurt, their little dark skinned tears. Yeah, that's okay. They'll get over it. Yeah, they want to conquer the women. It's easier. It's easier, right? Because of the sense of community. And it's also because the mulatto men, have to create our own communities. And mulatto men have to create spaces, communities, so then the women feel comfortable. That's it. Because the blacks, the males, they already create their own spaces and communities. And that's why the women could just run up in there and they have to out ghetto the black female. You'll see these women, man. I see it on TikTok, especially TikTok, a lot of mulattoes on TikTok, Gen Z, etc. And like they gotta out ghetto blacks, like to fit in with them in their spaces over there. So and that's it. It's because they create spaces, they create communities, groups. And then mulatto men, I mean, on YouTube, man, I've had to like go up shit's creek basically because it's been biracial baby mamas, a couple of them, not all, but it's a couple biracial baby mamas. They know who they are. The losers are listening. They're my biggest fans. Where they have been the biggest haters trying to destroy my credibility, smear me, paint me as a bad guy, right? Because they want to dominate the conversation because they want to create basically a lesbian, grooming space. That's what you've had in these mixed spaces. And that's on Facebook as well. You have Sabrina Johnson. She has a page called Unapologetically Biracial. It's a fucking gay page. A bisexual mulatto woman runs a page. They got all these followers in the group. It's a gay page. And that's you have that on Facebook. You have that in the mixed space on Instagram. And you also have that in YouTube land, in the quote unquote golden sphere in these spaces. Like this is a bunch of lesbians, a bunch of feminists. And when they see men who have developed a voice, who speak their truth, they try to destroy you and tear you down. That's what's been. But they've been unsuccessful. That's the best part. All they can do is block you and exclude you. Hey, you've done me a favor. I'm just doing my own shit. Either you're with me or not. If you're not, thank you. Go stay over there. It's been a blessing. For me, everything's worked out according to plan. I'm only growing. Atlanta is now the HIV capital and US officially. So happy Juneteenth. Wow. Crazy. Atlanta. Yeah, let's go back to this article and finish this out, guys. Let me go back to where I stopped at. I think this is where I stopped at. Yeah. Okay. The weakening of policies for Black people is largely due to the fact that 60% of Brazilians do not see themselves as Black. Right. That's staggering number. 60%, more than half, don't see themselves as Black. So it blows out the water this whole idea that it's like a Black nation or something. No, it's not. They're claiming all these mixed people as Black. That's what they're doing. They're using the one drop rule for their own benefit. You define brown people by an ambiguous phenotype, a reflection of miscegenation. In a country with vast phenotypical diversity, what criteria would be key to self definition and recognition of brownness? Avoiding new exclusions or hierarchies. See, avoiding new exclusions or hierarchies. See, that is like what they call homonormative. That's what it is. They're against the idea of exclusion, of having independent, different categories. I want to try to stray away from using the term separate because the black racists will try to frame me as a quote unquote separatist or a nationalist. That's why I use mulatto community because my intentions are very clear. It's community. I'm not saying separate. I'm saying we're distinguishably different than them. But the hierarchy, there's hierarchical structures in everything you do, but they're trying to paint it as a negative. Yeah, when you go work for a job, you apply for a job, there's a hierarchy. You have a boss, you have a supervisor, you have a CEO, and they're okay with that. Okay. These racist blacks and gay, racist gays, they're okay with that. The hierarchies for the companies, their massa they work for. But when it comes to you, the population of mulattoes and even this case pardos, multiracial people, then they want to shame you because see, they know in the structure that oftentimes we will be placed above just based off our beauty standard, our beauty, our skill sets, our expertise. We will rise the cream of the crop. We'll be above a lot of people. We stand out in any society. That's why they're against this concept of hierarchies. There's a guy, he's an American guy, mixed guy. I'm not going to mention his name. He has a YouTube channel. He's a gay guy. And I remember I talked to him once. This is like probably a year or 2 years ago. And he said he doesn't like the word mulatto because basically because he feels like the hierarchy. He said he's against these different racial classes and and the hierarchy and exclusion. And that's what it is. It's that homonormativity. That's what it is. They feel like they're being excluded, right? But see, they want to exclude you. The thing is, when they have their gay group and they have power, they're going to exclude you. They're going to call you cis, gendered. You see that? See, they want to control the narrative. That's what it is with this language. They want to be able to exclude you and say, well, you're a biracial man with a white mom and you're straight. They want to exclude you, right? See, they're okay with hierarchies as long as they can have lesbian, dark skinned black females at the top. Then they're cool with hierarchies. That's intersectionality. See, when they have straight biracial men with white moms, when we're at the top, see, they have an issue. So when I'm reading this dumb question, this is all I already know the game of these people. See, for us having a in-group interest, it's negative. You're excluding people, which is protection. We're protection mechanism. We're protecting ourselves from being absorbed and erased by racist people who hate us. And we're creating hierarchies. That's a structure. See, they're against us having anything. So you got to critically read this stuff and understand what's really going on. In a country with such phenotypical diversity as Brazil, reducing everything to the dichotomy of black or white ends up creating new exclusions. Parjatuje proposes recognizing a complexity of miscegenation between indigenous people, blacks and whites, and investigating how racism acts differently on this group. Exactly, right? Racism is different for people who are mixed race, these brown people, Pardo people. And like I say, in the United States, it's similar, where racism is different towards us who are mulatto versus black or white. I already told you guys where it's like in the work environment, one of my recent environments where they're very open and bold with the anti mulatto racism. But I clap back, I match their energy as I do online, offline. It's all, I'm the same dude, online, offline. I'm very real and authentic. That's why you guys tune in. You get the real deal. You don't get these fake little fruitcakes hiding behind their little troll accounts. You get the real deal over here. And it's yeah, that's the thing. Like these same people, like they're very open with their anti-mulatto hate and hostility. But with certain groups, they're very carefully curating how they're going to direct their racism, like towards black, how they're going to exclude black from certain jobs or exclude Mexican from certain jobs. Like they're very careful how they deal with their racism. But with us mulattoes, they're very open and bold with it because they look at us as not being a protected class. We don't have representation at the moment. We're working on it. That's why these groups, like, they're very bold right now, and that's why you hear in my voice the assertiveness where I'm very kind of irritated and frustrated where it's like, "Yeah, I'm not playing games with people who are racist and anti-mulatto. Not playing games with you." Sociologist Veronica Daflon, for example, shows that in 2000s there was coherence between self and heteroidentification in the categories of Brazil. However, with the rise of social networks and monoracial logic became popular based on hypodescent, in which a pardo person needs to be classified as either black or white. That's like a federal law they recently passed, I think several years ago, where a pardo person, they're trying to force them with the one drop rule to check black, which historically has not existed in Brazil. They've been always been able to identify as pardo. So it's a recent phenomena where they're trying to force pardos to identify as black. That's because the black movement has gained a lot of power in Brazil. but that's a unique battle they have. It's good for us to be aware of that and witness that and see what we can do to help mitigate the situation. Because a lot of philosophies here in the States are, like I said, are being transplanted over there. So do we have like, and then we have mulattoes in the United States who help the negativity over there by when they identify as black. You're helping, you're doing them a disservice. Okay. This has generated displacement in those who live in a phenotypic middle ground. In research on Parcha we have identified that much of the current difficulty in defining phenotypes comes precisely from this attempt to apply a hypodescent model on multiracial bodies, exactly, precisely, weaponizing the one drop rule on mixed people. We have no space in this process. Only darker skinned mulattoes are, generally speaking, truly accepted as the light skinned blacks that the theory proposes, while a huge portion of the population then remains in identity limbo. Sometimes they are seen as white, sometimes as black, sometimes as nothing, right? Sometimes as nothing. Interesting. But it's this binary nature of either white or black. No, if you're mixed, you're fusion of white and black, you're mulatto. It's on us in independent media to start to reclaim this. It's on us. A sensitive point in your work is the mental health of brown people, especially in relation to judgment and hetero identification panels. What distinguishes a fraudster from a brown person unfairly rejected in these panels? The mental health of brown people is affected by the lack of belonging. The mental health of brown people is affected by the lack of belonging, not feeling like you have a home. And we have biracial people who want to out black people and act all extra hood to fit in with black people. It's very sad and despicable. And I see some of these people where it's like they're lost without a home. They're out there where the scavengers and vultures are going to easily devour them. Particularly, like I said, these kind of lesbian feminist types are looking for these kind of lone wolf kind of, individuals, and they're like going to prey on them. They see they don't have a group, they don't have a tribe, and they're out there bloodthirsty like vultures, literally. And I see some of these people, like, and that it's mental health, and it's because they're still trying to pretend to be black, but you got a white daddy. Okay, blacks don't have white dads. Like, I don't understand you people. Why you play games out here? Okay. Which is blatantly evident on the exam boards. Multiracial trauma is neglected, but studies abroad have already pointed to the quote unquote racial imposter syndrome and other problems faced by mixed race people. Receiving reports of people who gave up on self deletion after my work reinforces the importance of this collective issue. Treating brown people who fail as fraudsters and excluding them from public exams is unfair. In cases of brown people rejected by the media, the phenotypical ambiguity is clear. Unlike the bad faith of fraudsters, it is necessary to create tools to combat fraud without penalizing vulnerable people, understanding that when quotas were created, they were based on statistics for all brown people, not just dark skinned people. There is a recent attempt to claim that only some brown people are entitled to quotas, but this is unconstitutional. That's Brazilian law, right? Beatrice is speaking about, as there was no research to support it. Furthermore, the idea of racial democracy as uh, permeated a society, and many mixed people do not really understand whether they have the rights or not. We need to mature the debate, understanding that not every mistake or doubt is bad faith. When quotas were created, they were based on statistics for all brown people, not just dark skinned mulattoes. Another point of debate is the functioning of the hetero identification boards, from the training of members to the phenotypic judgment scene. which is your opinion to what is your opinion to this, or your opinion on this? Excuse me. The boards have many opportunities for improvement. I'm a fan of the idea because subjective self-declaration is not enough. They already combat fraudsters just by existing, because many ill-intentioned people do not dare to do so, knowing of their existence. Is it Section 6 of the 2023 Normative Instructions suggests that the board should preferably be formed by members with experience in racial equality in combating racism. This training is not mandatory, but we know that even people with training in ethnic racial issues will have a binary view of the population, which still causes problems for brown people. This is a profound reform that my work humbly seeks to initiate because it requires a collective effort. We need more people engaged in analyzing this from a multiracial perspective to improve not only the boards, but policies in general, understanding the place of brown and black people. Very interesting. One proposal is to separate vacancies for black and mixed race people, protecting black people from feeling usurped by lighter skinned people, and deepening the analysis of multiraciality among mixed race people, considering the indigenous phenotype, the territory, and the vulnerability in each state. In Amazonas, for example, mixed race people of indigenous origin are vulnerable and need to be considered in policies. I would like to emphasize that judging the phenotype is important because racist society already judges this way. Yeah, and they try to hide and pretend we're not racist. Like even in Brazil, I think they do that more so than the United States. Because I've had a lot of Brazilian students who consult with me to learn English. And I've just generally speaking, I've asked them some questions here or there. I've had a couple students, professional people, males too. They're like, "Oh, in Brazil, we don't see race," and that bullshit. You can pretend and lie and talk that shit in English with a straight face, but I know you're lying. They'll tell themselves that. Even Beatrice, we kind of briefly talked about that. Yeah, there's people out there like that who think, "Oh, we don't see race or we don't see color." Bullshit. BS. Yeah. Yeah, and like they're saying here, because racist society, they already judge you. They already judge you by the phenotype. So why are we denying it? No, we need to analyze this further to develop better results, period. And no one's going to speak up for you. They want to maintain the status quo, maintain you as a subordinate class. It's up to you to speak. Will you get hate? Yes, for sure. But that's part of the process. And the residuals, the positive residuals you're going to receive in the long run outweigh the hate. The haters, they can only do so much. They know they're powerless. That's why they watch you. They hate you, but they watch you and they're like frustrated watching you and stuff like that. But it's like they're futile. Their efforts are futile. You're still going to grow. Your influence is going to grow. It's just inevitable. The problem is a lack of multiracial perspective to improve the process to make it fair. Right. That's the issue. Is that the problem? The lack of multiracial perspective where they drown your voices out. They'll only allow you to speak if you're speaking for black people. When you're speaking for mixed people, Pardo, or like Mulatto, then they want to deny you the right to speak. They want to silence and censor you, right? That's what she's putting here. The problem is the lack of multiracial people to improve the process to make it fair. They don't want to include you to make it fair. They want to censor you and they want to tell you what's acceptable. It's a form of erasure. Today, the heteroidentification panel is humiliating for brown people who have their identity questioned, unlike black people for whom the panel is just a face badge. We need to stop humiliating and traumatizing brown people. The heteroidentification board is humiliating for brown persons who identify as questioned, unlike, yeah, it's the same quote I just read from the prior paragraph. Considering the racial limbo of brown people and these difficulties in heteroidentification boards, how can brownness contribute to more inclusion in multiracially sensitive affirmative policies? It is urgent to recognize Brazil's territorial diversity and adapt policies to the reality of each state. We need to research brown people, considering the territory of its data for fair policies at the regional level. Dividing vacancies between black and brown people is a crucial step. This would protect black people who are not ambivalent, words difficult to pronounce, ambivalent. My debate also aims to benefit these Black people, recognizing that there are differences in treatment and experiences between Black and Brown people. It is important that we, Brown people, recognize our place in order to deepen research and define policies for the vulnerable multiracial population, which, due to its size, helped to achieve affirmative action. The current debate often ignores descendants of indigenous people in the racialized mixed race population, and all of this needs to be reviewed with due caution. In what specific way does Parjatuje propose to rescue and promote indigenous and African ancestries, which are often ignored and underreported in the Brown experience? All right. Valuing mixed race diversity in Brazil involves reclaiming indigenous and African experiences. If we are mixed race, but we forced to adhere to white culture through colonization, valuing this mixed race culture means understanding that we are mixed race. The category brown was instrumentalized to make us feel like nothing. Mixed race awareness is crucial because being mixed race without knowing one's origin does not bring value or political strength to combat inequalities. Questioning the ethnic identity of the mixed race Brazilian, as criticized by the Black movement, is essential to not erase Black or Indigenous identities. Recovering mixed race cultural diversity means stopping this erasure by promoting Indigenous and African ancestries. To do this, mixed race people do not need to declare themselves Black or Indigenous, but rather be aware that white culture is dominant and a result of colonization and ethnocide. We can help Black and Indigenous brothers and sisters in their ethnic recovery. Black and Indigenous are also colonial categories, as is Brown. Enslaved Africans were of different ethnicities, just as the original peoples were Tupis and Guaranis, etc., etc., uh, unified into categories to erase their histories. In the racial debate, this criticism of invention is more directed at Brown with the intention of erasing it. Without proposing a substitute that carries the same meaning, replacing mulatto and brown with black erases the specific experience, since mulatto is a mixture of black and white, different from being black. Thank you, Beatrice, who proudly identifies as mulatto. Okay, let me repeat that again. In a racial debate, this criticism of invention is more directed at brown with the intention of erasing it. Yes, mulatto erasure, without proposing a substitute that carries the same meaning. They just want to just put a black label on you. And like I say, that they want to basically erase you and drown you out underneath blackness, right? Replacing mulatto and brown with black erases specific experience, since mulatto is the mixture of black and white, different from being black. We're not the same as black. Beatrice is not a black female in Brazil. And I don't have to tell her that. She knows through her own experience. Just like in the United States, I am not a black man in the United States. I am a mulatto man. I am a biracial man. Okay. Banning specific terms or research prevents a deeper look into these groups. Words invented by the colonizer cannot be banned without offering equivalent alternatives, right? They want to ban the use of mulatto. That's a bad word. Let's call ourselves black. It's like, wait, didn't the colonizer give you that term black? But you still want to use that. You still want your own little special term, your Black History Month and all that. You still want that, right? But you don't want the mulattoes to have the mulatto term because it's a bad word from the colonizer. Interesting how you people operate. So you're only interested in power then, right? I'm just the bad guy. I'm the villain because I'm not gonna let you have power over me. Go talk to one of these hoes or these baby mamas. Don't talk to me with that hoe shit. You're gonna be dealt with. Words invented by the colonizer cannot be banned without offering equivalent alternatives. Very true. Shout out to Beatrice. How does Barjatuje relate to the debate on colorism? In Brazil, colorism is used to claim that a mixed race person is black or that a mixed race person suffers racism, which confuses the theoretical discussion. Colorism does not say that mixed race people are black. It is about diagnosing a hierarchy of phenotypes, of direct forms of oppression based on color and features in post slavery countries, but without imposing any monoracial classification on mixed race people. The theory of colorism imported from the United States, you see. They imported hypodescent, the one drop rule, but they're also importing this colorism BS from the United States, where the dark skin North American Bantu is coddled, right? And basically, the Anglos are working with dark skinned Bantus to offer mulattoes on a plate to be subordinates to the Bantu. You have a guy like me, I'm the villain. Remember, guys, I'm the bad guy, I'm the villain. I'm like, no, we're a self sufficient, autonomous population in the United States, and we're growing. Our influence and numbers are growing. But they have this arrangement, the Anglos and Bantus. They want to maneuver mulattoes to be subordinates underneath them to make them feel better, act like they have some kind of skin in the game. They got a population they can punk, right? Kind of like how the Anglos can punk around mestizos, right? They they had all these like Latinos for Trump, yeah, fool, Latinos for Trump. They voted for Trump, thinking Trump was going to just check the blacks, and then it comes to find out Trump ain't checking the blacks. Trump is focusing on mass deportations, checking Latinos, deporting their ass back to where they came from. And now that like the FAFO fuck around and find out, now they're having these protests around the country. I was in fucking Colombia and Panama. I didn't give a shit. I was sitting there laughing like, you people got what you voted for, man. Half of you motherfuckers voted for Trump, voted for MAGA because you thought the orange man was just going to punk the blacks. And guess what? you know, he's deporting your abuela. He's deporting your ass. And, it's a shit show, man. I was watching this from Colombia. Like, I don't give a shit, man. You people got what you voted for, you know? So, kind of a side thing I want to throw out there because it's current in the news, but I thought it was pretty funny. I just saw like Latinos for Trump. I can't believe it. It's like you even have like blacks for Trump. It's like, oh my God, it's kind of cringe. You got Candace Owens, her goofy ass. But then you got these Latinos, like, and then like they deport your fucking daddy or your cousin or whatever, and then you're sitting there crying. I'm like, bro, but you're MAGA. You voted for Trump. Oh, but you thought you were a good, safe one. As long as you can talk crap about the blacks. You thought Donald Trump would have special circumstance for you. See, this a lot of these people, this is how they are. It's mind-boggling. And that was so cringe, man. That's one of the reasons why I was so anti-MAGA. Like initially at first with the campaign last year, I was kind of leaning more towards Trump. But man, when I saw all these Latinos jump out here, like, yeah, make America great again, I'm like, you're gonna be the first people to fucking go. Like that's what really made me switch and be like, I cannot vote for that orange man when I'm seeing all these blind zombies supporting him. It's not even Trump, like I'm anti-Trump. It's more so the MAGA. It's just the fucktards, the tools of this society, the racist scumbag tools, and they're Anglos and they're Bantus and they're Mexican mestizo, all these racist groups who support Trump. And it's like that's what really turned me off. It wasn't just the orange man himself. I didn't, you know, he's a reality TV star. It's a complete joke. It was just the supporters, the people who support the guy. They think they're special, and I'm like, okay. Let me sit back with my popcorn and watch you idiots eat each other alive. Okay. Let me continue on. Imported from the United States, focus on the Black American population. Yeah, because the hypo, like I said, the hypo descent and all this stuff. That's what they're importing over there. Importing this theory to Brazil without taking this context into consideration. Starting to call mixed race people light skinned blacks. A translation of light skin. Yeah, it's a way to hoodwink you into blackness, to throw the black label on you, because that's what they do to me. And I always get a kick out of them. I laugh at them too. Oh man, you just look like a light skinned black. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm tired of you savages crying about colorism. Why? Like, I don't, you're trying to say I look like LeBron James or I look like Michael Jordan. Oh, no, man, you short. You light skinned and bald and you short. Yeah, I don't look like you people. You're not my people. Why are you trying to claim me as one of you? See, because they expose their own anti black racism. The same racists who are anti-mulatto, they expose their own anti. See, that's what it is because they're trying to claim you as like, oh, you just look like a light skinned black. Like they're saying it as like a negative thing. You look black or something. Like I don't look like Tyrese. I don't look like Floyd Mayweather. I don't look like one of these people. You're just a light skinned black, right? Trying to hoodwink you. Okay, yeah, you keep telling yourself that. I don't want to hear your bitch ass cry colorism, but I already know your hoe ass will. Okay, I already know you Fruit Loops, you feminist and black gays, gonna cry colorism, cry featureism, but I don't know why you still try this crap, calling mulatto men light skinned black. Like, why do you keep crying with this light skin stuff? And you cry colorism. Make up your damn mind. But see, for them, they're powerless, former slaves. So they want to have a sense of power. And they're looking at mulattoes as a population that they can basically try to dictate policy, right? Try to get some power over us or something. With me, I just laugh at you hoes. I don't give a shit. You ain't my people. Okay. Go tell your massa about that. Is a colonial reproduction of the concepts of the current cultural dominant country, the United States. Current culturally dominant country. See, that's the thing, the culture. Because even in Brazil, when I was taking like Ubers and taxis everywhere, I noticed I told this to Beatrice as well. I was like, man, I'm hearing a lot of American music. I go to a restaurant, they're playing American music. I go into taxi cars or Ubers, they're playing like American songs. Even when I was in Colombia, they have a lot of Latin music, Spanish music for sure. But I still did hear some American music. And Panama is very Americanized. They use their currency is a US dollar, and the Americans built their canal, which is their kind of national kind of pride. So, but they did play American music, but they have still Latin influence for sure. Costa Rica. But yeah, in Brazil, I noticed that too, like with the culture, the music, where it's like they're playing a lot of American music and all these Ubers I'm taking, all this American music. So yeah, they're implanting the culture, the music and stuff. And even Beatrice said she grew up listening to like, American like rock music and stuff. But yeah, they're taking in these philosophies as well, like the one drop rule, hypodescent, etc., colorism. There's all this American BS. Often the discussion about colors in Brazil ignores the existence of descendants of indigenous people among racialized population. Yeah, colorism is part of intersectionality. So it only focuses on dark skinned, fat, disabled, lesbian, black females. That's it. The whole colorism, because they're not talking about the black male. Because black males, they don't cry about colorism. It's a gynocentric focal point. The viewpoint of it is basically it's all feminine, female related. That's why you'll have gay black guys who are proponents like to fight against colorism. They take that on as like a battle to deal with because they're gay, like and they're black female identified. Straight black men don't cry about this colorism shit. You're a dude. You got a dick and balls. You got to get your ass out here and work and make a name for yourself. You got to sweat and bleed like every other man. I do not see any self respecting black man in any society in the United States, in Latin America, in Europe, in Africa, any country I've ever traveled to. I do not see self respecting black men with dignity cry about this colorism shit. If you're dark skinned, Michael Jordan is the blackest motherfucker on the basketball court. Is he going to cry about colorism? You have to perform. If you are a man, you got to perform. This colorism shit is for black females. And oftentimes it's because they're gay, they're overweight, they're disabled, and all these other, this is intersectionality, this colorism stuff. Straight men, straight black men do not talk and cry about colorism. They will be laughed at by other men. This is facts. I'm letting you know. If you argue with your boy, tell me, tag me in a video. Come challenge me. The door's open. I want to see a straight black man who's got some balls challenge me on this colorism shit. This is a female argument. The only males who are going to cry colorism are gay black males, period. They're gay, they're not straight. So they're not even a part of our group or community. They're LGBT. They need to work it out with their group over there. But that's it. That colorism stuff, that is all like female oriented. And like I said, in intersectionality in their philosophy, it's going to be dark skinned black female. She's going to be lesbian and probably have like be overweight or have some disability, kind of BLM type of thing, or trans. And that's all that is over there. Seriously studying colorism in Brazil requires understanding the different stereotypes that affect our Black, Indigenous, and mixed race populations, reducing the racial experience to the idea that the lighter you are, the less you suffer is simplistic and reductionist. Yeah, because they erase you, they ignore you. Like they talk about, some people will say, well, reverse racism is not a real thing. But then, you know, they'll say the same racist thing. They'll say, well, reverse colorism is not a real thing. Yeah, in the United States, you have lighter skinned women you'll see on social media. They'll call light skinned men weak. We're like, how the hell did that happen? You're a light skinned female, but you talk shit about light skinned men. If you're a dark skinned female, you talk shit about light skinned men. I don't even care. None of us care. Light skinned men, they don't even give a shit. Like, you're black anyways. We don't care. Okay. It's when you have a light skinned woman who thinks she's a dark skinned black because she's a baby mama by a dark skinned black and she's talking shit on light skinned men. That's when the light skinned men kind of jump up. We're like, well, wait a second. What the hell is she talking about? What happened? What social mechanism programmed her to hate the male counterpart of her phenotype? To hate on a light skinned man, to call a light skinned man weak and saucy, or yeah, weak and sassy. I said saucy, same shit, sassy, saucy, whatever. Saucy Santana, you know, dark skinned fruitcake guy. You guys heard of that cat? Saucy Santana. I think I have a funny video clip. I might as well just share that right now because why not? Let me see if I can pull it up. I I made like a collection video just for my detractors when they want to run up in here and talk some shit. I had a video clip. Oh yeah, this is it. Watch this. It is kind of funny. No, I'm just talking shit. I mean, I only shared that right now. I never like publicly shared that before, but since I brought up that Saucy Santana guy, and that was like a little video. He was in that right there. No, I only had that there just in case I need it, like in the future. If someone wants to run up in here talking shit, you know, I got some videos and clips I can always just drop the clown motherfuckers if necessary. But that was it. Yeah, let me get back to this. So you guys can see the article. Okay. Yeah. The lighter you are, the less you suffer, right? You got light skin privilege. That's what they call it here. United States, you got light skin privilege, right? How do you deal with people who hate you like that? I don't get it. Who marginalize you? That's a form of oppression. They're marginalizing you. And like I said, for me, I'll be the villain. I'm not the victim. I'm not going to play this I'm oppressed game. I'm victimized. No, I just don't even deal with you people. I'm going to deal with the people that there's a beneficial, reciprocal relationship I have with. That's it. Like, I'm not going to sit there and be a subordinate and pretend or try to fit into your little space and try to act right. No, 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 no. I'm doing my own shit, develop my own space. I'm going to act how I want to act. You like it? You don't. Go somewhere else. Go to the other platforms. They have a bunch of other YouTube channels. They're mixed race and biracial. Please go over there. Have a good day. But the funny thing is, they still tune in to me. They'll catch the replay, they'll watch my clips, they'll watch my videos. They always still come back because there's nobody else giving you mulatto content like me. I hate to toot my own horn, but the truth is what it is. Although IBGE categorized blacks and browns separately, public policies unite them in the group blacks. How does Part 2J focus on the brown specificity, seek to influence the formulation and implementation of policies to combat racial inequality? There's a lot there. Let's check this out. We're almost done here. Yeah, I think this is about it. Let me finish this off, guys, and get to your questions if I need to. I know it's been kind of a longer stream, but it's a very good article. Shout out to Beatrice. Objectively, the racial equality statute needs to reformulate the group blacks. As Dennis Mora points out, the black movement wanted to abolish brown, but the IBGE kept it so as to not confuse historical data. The statute then lumps browns and blacks together as blacks in an attempt to implement hypodescent in Brazil, ignoring the IBGE's definition of browns as mixed race people from two or more groups: white, black, indigenous, and brown. This grouping is crucial in statistics since both groups are vulnerable, with the gap in relation to whites in literacy, professions, homicides, and basic sanitation. The statistical difference between blacks and browns is small, making the separation less useful for general conclusions. However, this does not require grouping as blacks, but rather as racially vulnerable groups, which would include browns, blacks, and indigenous people. Browns are mixed race people, according to IBGE. But yeah, they're trying to force the brown, the Pardo, into the black group. They're using the American one drop rule, which is, like I said, ever so, every day, like it's becoming more and more irrelevant. The more of our voices are out here. And like I said, it's only really in the southern states they try to pull this crap. And we're challenging their ass. We're going to get the federal government to clamp on their ass. They're trying to push this one drop rule on us. We're going to fight back. That's where the real battle is. This social media stuff, it's just too easy to make content, or this content creator responds to them and that. It's necessary to let people know we have our voices out here. But the real battle is legally making sure that we get our classification back and we challenge these people. They want to deny us our identity. And I'm one voice amongst many. It's going to take all of us, all hands on deck. Objectively, the racial equality statute needs to be reformulated, reformulate the group blacks. Yeah, because they're including browns, pardos, mixed people in that black category using the American racist one drop rule, which is not working. It's not working in the United States. The one drop rule, it's not working in Brazil. And you have mulattoes around the planet challenging, questioning it. And basically, we're going to destroy it, dismantle this racist one drop rule. Considering the growth of multiracial movements such as mestizo consciousness in Latin America, how do you see the relationship and potential dialogue between Parja with other experiences and concepts of mestizo identity globally? What mutual learnings and exchanges do you consider important? In Latin America, debate over the term mestizo and the erasure of indigenous ethnicities is present, similar to our struggle here. There is a common effort to repair the cultural erasures caused. Interestingly, terms analogous to brown, such as maroon, do not carry the same aversion and even have a sense of unity and empowerment, especially for indigenous people and their mestizo descendants. There is a movement to value the brown identity with pride and focus on indigenous issues and the racism faced by this group. Okay. In the United States, researchers such as Reginald Daniel have already pointed to the growing multiracial self-identification. New generations identify as biracial with debates and studies on the rise. Although there is resistance from Black American movements, fearful of the decrease in the percentage of Black people. This is it. They're upset. The resistance you're seeing from Blackistan is they're going to lose access to the mulatto women because that's mainly what they're interested in. They want to bastardize mulatto women so they can increase their numbers. And it's just a numbers game. They're upset they're going to lose numbers. They're going to lose influence in a social democracy where the majority rules, minority loses. The minority is governed by the majority in this society, this social democracy. So they're upset that they're going to lose numbers. This is why they're hell bent on forcing you to identify as mulatto or forcing you to identify as black. They know, see, they're against mulatto because historically it's been an independent classification. A lot of these racists, they're okay with you saying you're biracial or mixed race because they know black people can jump in and out of that identity. Well, my great great granddaddy was mixed, so that was 10 generations ago. So even though I look like Wesley Snipes, I'm just mixed like you. We're all the same people. Black comes in all shades. See, that's why they're okay with the innocuous terms like biracial or mixed race because they can jump in and out of that identity whenever the hell they want, right? But they're still black and they'll still wield it over you and kick you out when they want to, like what they did with Drake. But with mulatto, they can hijack that. They'll try to send their light skinned subordinates, but they know the biracials are going to check their ass up out of here, right? However, recognition of mixed race identity is a right. Resistance to this right generates attacks such as to the police who are black. And I talked about her. I talked with her about this. Man, this is what, because she said in Brazil, it's the same thing. They say the same exact thing. This is the Blackistan gaslighting tactic number one. Well, you could say you mixed race or you biracial. You could say that all you want. But when the police pull you over, when my white massa pulls you over, you are black. They gonna remind your ass that you black. That is Blackistan gaslighting tactic number one. They'll use fear to try to humble you. Very disgusting and despicable. Worse than any little bad word I could ever say. The fact that people will try to threaten you with fear, intimidation, and violence if you don't identify with them. Very disgusting. I'm very simple. I'm like, look, if you don't identify with me, if you're mulatto and you're black identified, have a good day. I don't care. I might clown you maybe if that's the worst I can do or say a little joke, but I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to make my whole channel off of you or do all these streams. I might do one stream or one video, just something simple, but that's it. Like that's the worst I can do. But for people who are trying to humble you and threaten police violence on you to identify as black, it just shows you where they are, that they're losing. They're losing bad, and they desperately want to keep you and contain you as a subordinate class. Very despicable. A biracial friend in the US said that during a police brutality stop, he heard another common phrase from mixed race people abroad: what are you? Showing that in the US, despite the violence for him visibly not being white, the police do not see him as black. I don't know. She's probably quoting me. I know she has a lot of friends. She's popular, but I don't know. Otherwise, they would not have asked, what are you? Yeah. They don't ask blacks, what are you? But they ask me, what are you? Yeah. It was because of me. I told her. We talked. I mentioned that to her. And I always say this too. Yeah, they don't ask blacks, what are you? That's why if you're a mulatto, you're a mixed person, right away, someone asks you, what do you are? That's your clue that you're not black like them. They don't ask blacks, what are you? They ask us, the ambiguous people. They ask us, what are you, right? People like Meghan Markle also publicly identifies biracial in Europe. Yeah. And she's an American. Yep. As Gloria Anzaladua, my greatest reference says, mestizo consciousness is a consciousness of the future because the future depends on the intersection of two or more cultures. We know that this intersection in Brazil occurred through painful violence, but it is possible from now on to build justice without erasing the past that shaped us. Recognizing and honoring our multiple origins is part of the path to a more just, plural, and true future. Heteroidentification boards are committees formed by appointed members whose objective is to verify the racial self declaration of candidates competing for vacancies reserved for black and brown, or indigenous people in public examinations, entrance exams, and other selective processes. That is it. Damn, that took me a minute to get through that, didn't it? Shout out to Beatrice for that. That was a good one. That was a good one. Shout out to her. Yeah. The golden lineage says mulatto pronatalism, pro child having, is essential for the future of the mulatto identity. And you put the white Cubans in Miami, Florida did a soundtrack for Donald Trump. Yeah. I heard about that. Yeah, they had like hip hop songs and shit pro Donald Trump. It's just cringe. I don't know. Like any of these MAGA people, I want to get away from them, man. I don't like these MAGA people. They're fucking weird. They're cult members, man. You belong to a cult. Like the guy can do no wrong. They think Donald Trump can do no wrong. Even when he does something wrong, they make excuses for the guy. It's very weird, man. Very weird time in the United States where I've never seen anything like this. These cult people, man, they're just a cultist following Donald Trump. Very weird. They trying to say you look like Ving Rhames. Oh, who's saying I look like Ving Rhames? Who? Some gay black fucktard or something? Or what? Ving Rhames, yeah, okay. Dude's like way darker than me because he's bald. Really? People usually say I look like Derek Fisher, the NBA player, Derek Fisher. He's a bald cat too, but we have the same skin tone. Ving Rhames is like dark skin. I don't know what, Oh no, he light skin. See, they always try to redefine light skin. I'm telling you guys, that's what this light skin shit. They're trying to say that these blacks are just mulattoes and they fucking look like Wesley Snipes. I mean, this is what they're going to do. If you play along with them with this light skin shit, they're going to redefine what that light skin means. They're going to say Kwame Brown is a light skin. This is what these people are going to do. For the mulattoes, the real mulattoes, you better gatekeep this shit. Okay. They'll claim Cardi B is black. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they'll claim Cardi B is black because she's female, right? They'll claim Izzy Azalea, that the white woman in Australia. Yeah, they'll claim her as black. Yeah, they'll claim white women as black. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because they want to bastardize the females. That's how they're going to try to conquer groups, right? And the thing is, when they leave these women as baby mamas, like I don't know if these baby mamas, they're not coming to us with money. Like, what the fuck are they going to offer us? They're going to offer us like bastard kids from black men, and like my kids are mixed too. I'm sorry, sweetheart. No, I don't understand. They come to us, to the men, the straight men who have our shit together, and they come to us thinking like we're gonna help them out or something. Like, but you're a baby mama to a black guy. Like, you got to go back over there where the black guys are at and get your child support or get some support. I don't understand. Like, and then they come to us, to the men. You know, you as a biracial guy, you should be insulted. You should be It's an insult. You're looking like, where the hell is your black baby daddy at? Go to him and get money from him. Don't come over here. I will fucking clown you and I will have fun doing it. So I checked out all your guys' comments when I'm at 2 hours into this. Okay, I think I got something else I can share real quick. Just why not? Because I traveled a bit. I was gone the past couple weeks and I saw this. Okay, I saw this video. I want to talk about this because I guess it's kind of travel content related. Give you guys my mulatto perspective on this. All right. So this guy here, his name is Austin Holloman. He's kind of basically a passport bro guy. That's his branding, his label as a passport bro. And for whatever reason, this video popped up on my algorithm a while ago. I just kind of kept in the archives, like, okay, let me talk about it now. And the video, he says here, Afro Latinas don't want you. And remember, he's a black guy. Oh, he light skinned, mulatto vanguard. He's light skinned. You being divisive. You have an agenda. You a Freemason. You trying to separate mulattoes and light skins. This nigga ain't light skinned. I don't give a damn what the Bantus tell you, people. This ain't a mulatto, homie. Okay, yeah, he's light skinned or he's mixed. Okay, that's fine. You can take that. He ain't mulatto. And that's the issue. I'm telling you, man, when you do this type of content, you get these weird ass interlopers running up in here like Mulatto Vanguard's got an agenda. He's working with the Freemasons and he's trying to separate light skins and mulattoes. Bitch, I didn't separate nothing. You Bantu butt kissers told us we're not like you. You threw Drake under the bus. The past several years, I've been seeing a lot of you people talking shit like, oh man, I'm not biracial. I'm just a light skinned dude. I'm not even biracial. Don't call me biracial. I'm not a tragic mulatto. I'm just a light skinned black. Okay, you be that. You go over there with those motherfuckers. It's hilarious. Now they're coming over here to our mulatto spot, trying to act like they got like safety or something, a safe spot over here. No, the fuck you don't, ho. On these lesser, inferior channels, you might be able to dance around over there. Not over here, bitch. Nah, we're gonna check your ass. Okay, you're gonna know your place over here, homie. So this guy, this Austin Holler, whatever. He's black. He's not mulatto. Okay, just let that be known. And which I don't have an issue with. I don't know the guy. I don't have an issue with him. He travels. Like I said, I travel too. But I think with him is his branding is attached with the whole passport bro thing. In this video, he's talking to his black male audience saying, and I think he's in Colombia saying this, that the Afro Latinas don't want you. Sucks for you motherfuckers, because I didn't have that issue.
If you are black and you come to Latin America and you are looking for an Afro Latina,
So you are black coming to Latin America looking for an Afro Latina. Well, that's strike number one. If you're black, why don't you take your black ass to a black country looking for a black woman? Why are you going to a Latin country looking for a Latin, a mixed woman, a woman who's mixed with black, a mixed woman, Afro Latina, right? Why are you looking for them, expecting them to like see? But then he's going to reverse it in his projection. He's going to try to say those women are self hating. They just want to be white. No, it's your black ass. You hate yourself. You hate black women. That's why you want to mix in with the mulattas and Afro Latinas. That's the type of trickery these guys try to play, guys like him. If you're a black man, these Afro Latinos don't want you. Why don't you go to Kenya? Why don't you go to Uganda? Why are you guys going where all the mulattas are at? Colombia, Brazil, Dominican Republic. You're going where the mulattas are at and like trying to shame these women and deal with you.
if it is not a city where there are already a bunch of Afro Latinos, you will most likely not be desired. You have
You're not going to be desired. It's just some loser shit. He's talking to his audience, these guys who kind of lead with their wallet, so to speak. You're not going to be desired. Go to the gym. Go to the gym. You got to learn your Spanish. If you're going to Colombia, if in Brazil, you got to learn their Portuguese. You have to learn Portuguese. You cannot not speak Portuguese and have a good time in Brazil. I lucked out because I have a connection. I got Beatrice. That's shout out to her. All praise to her. I owe her. She speaks English. Like, so thankful that she reached out to me. Yeah, because like that my experience would have not been as good if I wasn't connected with her, because I know a few words in Portuguese. The good thing with the countries I went to, I was able to use a lot of my Spanish. I already learned the past year, was able to use it in real time and improve, which is very good. I plan to do more of that, practice my Spanish. But yeah, let's continue on. Listen to this guy.
have to go to a place like Salvador or Cali, Colombia, where there are already high amounts of
So you have to go to a place like Salvador. I think he's talking about Brazil, Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. And he's saying Cali, Colombia. He's saying there's a lot of black people. He's saying go to the black places in Latin America to find a mixed woman there. If you go to, he said, I think he's going to talk about Buenos Aires, Argentina. Yeah, no shit. That's like the whitest. There's like a lot of Italians there. Italians who speak Spanish and they think they're Anglos, right? Those are like the tragic Hispanics. Those are the Cuban types who are like MAGA. They're voting for Trump and shit, but their abuela is getting deported. Those are those types. Some of those. I'm not saying all Argentinians, but some of them. Like they're Hispanic, bro. They're not Anglos, but like they think they're Anglos. Like that's the tragedy.
black people, and then you'll have a better shot at beating Afro Latinos. But if you go to somewhere like Buenos Aires, Argentina,
He said Buenos Aires. Like I'm saying, Who the hell is gonna go to Buenos Aires? Like there's not mulattas there, bro. Yeah, Argentina is a very white nation. I don't know this guy's he's talking to his audience, talking about Argentina. That should already been known. This is like not new information, bro. I knew this like a decade ago before I even had a passport. Like Argentina, Buenos Aires, that's like more so the kind of white Hispanic part of the continent, South America.
Montevideo, Uruguay, they're
Yeah, Uruguay, Paraguay, Chile, Argentina. Yeah, yeah. They're not known for having a lot of mulattoes there.
going to be more likely repellent to you because they want to breed out.
Now he's trying to shame them. I wanted to point that out. They want to breed out. But see, it's the projection. That's why I want to talk about this clip because he wants to breed out like a lot of these passport bros, these dark skinned black males. Oh, I'm sorry to you light skins. He's a light skinned brother. No. He's not mulatto. I don't give a damn what the hell you people call him. He's not mulatto. So to me, he's black. Okay. So yeah, they want to breed themselves out. They want to get with the Afro Latinas. But see, they want to turn around and shame the women for not choosing their ass. It's the same thing they do in the United States. When a Sage Steele chooses a white partner and not a black partner, they call her tragic mulatta. They say she's anti-black. And she has a good relationship with her black father still to this day, at her age. She's never said anything anti-black, but they call her anti-black. They call everyone anti-black. If you're not kissing their ass, they're going to say you're anti-black. You guys, if you're mulatto, you're a proud mulatto, it shouldn't mean anything to you. It's only the baby mamas who have black kids who are going to take it seriously, right? It shouldn't mean anything to you because they call everyone anti-black. That's one of their tools, their mechanisms to try to kind of shame and humble you. It doesn't mean anything. And what I want to say, yeah, like that reverse kind of psychology. He's in what they said also with like not Sage Steele, but also Halle Berry. They're gonna call her tragic mulatta because she has a white partner. They're gonna call Doja Cat a tragic mulatta, you see, because she has a white partner. That's what they do. They do that in the United States, but then they fly to like Brazil or they fly to Colombia and they pull that same shit with the mulattas down there because they see a mulatto who wants to deal with white guys. They're going to be like, oh, well, she wants to breed herself out. No, nigga. You want to breed yourself out. You passport pookies want to breed yourself out. That's why you're going to places where there's mulattoes. You're not going to the blackest country. You're not going to Uganda or Zimbabwe. You guys got to call these motherfuckers out. See, when I go somewhere, I go where the mulattoes are at. That's the difference between me and this guy. I mean, I go where everyone's at. I've been to Africa, been to Europe, etc. And that's the thing, the mutability mulattoes, we can go wherever we want. This is our planet. This is our world. We go wherever the fuck we want. But I specifically am energized and motivated to go where the mulattoes are at and connect with mulattoes. But see, that's the thing about this guy is him and his passport Pookie homies. They want to go to the DR and Colombia and try to bastardize the mulattoes there and complain when the mulattoes want white guys or other mulattoes. They don't want this dark skinned guy. To me, he's dark skinned. I know a lot of light skins are going to start to cry and be like, you being colorist. Okay, you want to be a hoe now and act like the women with the whole colorism stuff? No, this is not a mulatto guy. Okay. Sorry.
People could say that about passport bros. Their objective is to breed out. 70%.
Yeah, you're damn right. People can say, see, he had to cover his own ass by saying people could say that about passport bros. The objective is to breed out. Yeah, it is, bro. We're analyzing you guys. You guys aren't in Kenya or Uganda or Zimbabwe or, Cameroon or Senegal. You guys are specifically going to nations that have a large population of mulattoes. Colombia, Dominican Republic, Brazil. I've been to all these nations. They have a lot of mulattoes. You guys specifically go there to try to shame the women, to breed with those women. And when those women prefer other men who don't look like you want to like flip it on them and shame them and say like you're trying to breed yourself out. You see that kind of tricknology crap, reverse psychology.
I'd say 70% of these dudes that's like, we want a traditional woman. They're not.
Yeah, and this guy, he's full of shit. He can't even look in the camera with his lies. That's why I know he's full of crap. He's like closing the door, he's distracted, doing some other stuff, talking with just a broad number. 70% of these dudes, they just want a traditional woman. Well, then you got to be a traditional man. You guys are modern men. You guys are lazy bums. You think you can just pay for a woman and expect her to be traditional. And these women got cell phones with Instagram in these countries, in Brazil and Colombia and all these, in Dominican Republic, all these countries, they got Instagram and shit and all the dating apps. So you're a modern male, lazy as fuck. You're not building shit. You're not going to war, fighting battles. You're a modern male, but you want like a traditional woman. You guys are fucking jokers, man. You got to work for it. Yeah, and he can't even look in a camera with a straight face. No, you don't deserve the women. You're mad that the women, you're gonna say they're trying to breed out. You're trying to breed out, boy. You're not fooling me.
They're not going to Africa
Yeah, and you're trying to breed out, yeah, because you hate yourself. Let's be real.
and when they go to South America, they're not dealing with any Afro Latinos. But again, there's a culture in Latin America where you can't. If you
He's saying there's a culture and yeah, he couldn't even look in the camera with the last bullshit he spewed. He couldn't even look in the camera with a straight face and say that. A certain culture in Latin America. No, it's reverse psychology. I'm going to repeat it again before I move on. I just want to cover that because I saw that and I was just in, Colombia. It's like, yeah, you're just mad that the women, they have options. They're beautiful women. And if they prefer other men that don't look like you get emotional and you want to say you're a tragic mulatto. You just want to breed out. You just want to be white. No, that's what you want to do. That's what Philip Scott wants to do. The pro whack Philip Scott. That's what Professor Griff wants to do. Pro whack, Public Enemy. That's what Tariq Fraud Sheed wants to do. Pro whack FBA, pro whack Tariq Fraud Sheed. He has a mulatto wife. His kids are lighter skinned than him. He's a fucking typical pro whack. He wants to breed himself out as he did. His kids are lighter than him. That's the definition. Tariq Nasheed is a see, but they'll never call out their boys. And Tariq Nasheed, someone pointed out to me a DM the other day how that dude is like one of the original passport bros. He was talking about going to Brazil like over a decade ago, before his old FBA grift, before he hijacked the ADOS movement with the FBA crap. Tariq Nasheed was doing his like pimp lessons. He called it Mac lessons or something. And he did a video where he was in Brazil telling black guys, go to Brazil, get you a mixed woman. So, and then he has a mulatto partner. See, they've been doing this shit for a long time, guys. See, but now we can analyze their strategy and call it out. And they really don't like that. They really don't like that. Even Tariq Nasheed went so far to try to tell black males during his like little pimp lessons, get you a biracial woman that has a white mom because she'll be more submissive. Don't get you a black woman. She'll challenge you. Get you a biracial that's got a black dad, a white mom. He literally was telling his black male audience like a decade ago that you guys know what's up. You know what's up with these people. Frauds, phonies, always projection. I just had to cover that because it's hilarious. Yeah, he's not mulatto, but then the thing is with the whole light skin thing is that if you allow them to push that light skin shit on you, they will basically try to shoehorn and crowbar their way in with these Bantu interlopers. That's what it is. They'll try to claim, well, he's a light skinned guy, so he's close to being mulatto. I don't give a fuck how close he is to what. He's not mulatto. Access denied. So that's why you got to put the hammer down with this because that's what's going to happen. They're going to basically try to wiggle their way in and they're going to make it a whole Bantu fucking setup. They're going to destabilize and deplatform mulattoes. We built our own shit. The biracials are the ones who brought this mulatto consciousness back. And you got these interlopers and saboteurs who are going to try to take it from you. And that's what that whole light skin and golden shit is. With these people who use this terminology, this vague, ambiguous, broad terminology, golden, light skin, they're basically trying to punk the mulattoes back into servitude to serve Bantus. That's all it is. I'm just here to provide clarification. That's it. Letting you know we are exclusive and I'm going to gatekeep over here. And it's not just me. You got other mulattoes. You got Michigan mulatto. He's going to gatekeep. It's going to happen. These men are not going to sit back and let you try to fucking punk us. These other men, they're going to step up. He should be in the black communities, United States. Yeah, Kenya, Africa, Zimbabwe. No, but see that because they want to breed themselves out because they don't like themselves. They act like it's the American black female. There's a lot of beautiful, good American black females. I don't understand. Like, there's the most beautiful women in the world I've seen have been in America. Still to this day, I can say that even on my trip and came back, and I always tell myself that, like, well, the prettiest women, most beautiful women are still in America, regardless. I haven't been to Russia. I heard the women are pretty. Okay, I'm sure. I was in the UK, I was in France, and there's pretty women, but still in America, the prettiest women are in America. Brazil is top competition. Colombia, it's very plentiful. Yes, it's true. Dominican Republic, it's true. There's beautiful women all over the planet. I get that. But still, America still hands down has the prettiest, most beautiful mulattoes, and even prettiest black women, prettiest white women, prettiest Anglo women. I still am a firm believer of that from what I've seen. You go to these cities, I'm from California. Los Angeles, Southern California is a target rich environment. The prettiest women you're going to find are going to be in Southern California. They're going to be in the Miami, Florida area. They're going to be in the Dallas, Texas area. They're going to be in the Phoenix, Arizona, some of these cities in these regions in the United States. I still think America is like the best and for the prettiest women, the best environment for health, fertility, and everything. But that's just my opinion. Whatever. Let's move on. Yeah, he wants women that look nothing close to him. Yeah, he wants Afro Latina. He's not Afro Latino himself. He's not Dominican or Colombian. Colombian has a ton of mulattoes in Colombia. They got a ton of mulattoes, ton of Afro Latinos. Yeah, and he doesn't look like any of them. Yeah, he will never get the "what are you" question. He won't. He's not. Yeah. Yes, I gatekeep. The mulattoes in Maryland looked out for me when I was living there. Yes, California, my favorite state. I have many family members. That's the first states my family members came to DR. Okay, for sure. Shout out to you. You're Dominican. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to end it now. I appreciate you guys being here with me. Hit the like button if you guys already haven't done that. Share the stream. Appreciate you guys. Want to give you guys some quote unquote entertainment and also an informative, stream with shout out to Beatrice Buena, a major point of reference as far as the Pardo discussion in Brazil. She's the authority as far as I'm concerned with that. And she does an amazing job. So I really appreciate everything she's doing. Oh, and look who we got in the chat tuning in. Beautiful mulatto woman from SoCal. Yeah, and like I said, like they're the prettiest women, and they're plentiful as well in Southern California, Los Angeles, Orange County, which I'm from, San Diego. That's what really hit me when I moved to San Diego to finish up school, San Diego, and I was like, wow, prettiest women, prettiest mulattoes I've ever seen. So that's what I'm saying. Like you go to DR, whatever, Brazil and all that, Colombia, it's all good. It's cool. Travel. You guys should travel, see the world, connect with people. But it's like where I come from in California, like it's yeah, the competition's pretty thick out there. I think the prettiest women are out there. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it right now. Love you guys, appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys pretty soon. All right, peace out.